Hello, everyone. This is Brother Benson Media, and we want to welcome you this evening. We just want to have a recap and look at what happened today, especially during the preliminary hearing. It was a lot, Makobura. Let me give you this opportunity so you can say hi to our viewers.
Okay, good evening to our viewers. This is Brother Benson Media. We are privileged to have this time again to proceed with the conversation that we've been having. Um, Most of it has been based on the court sessions which has been going on. So we are here to do the analysis of what really happened today, and we want to really welcome everyone who will be watching. You can engage us via the comment section and we will really appreciate.
Thank you so much,
Karibuni.
Mr. Makobura. Indeed, a lot has been going on. A lot has been going on, and a lot to today also we kind of like saw a lot that was taking place. But before we go into the main discussion and maybe just to give our thoughts, because we were just want to give our thoughts based on what was happening and what you picked. And the lawyers for president, that is the lawyer Jenga Kamodo, withdrew from the impeachment case of the president. And because they feel like the seven cannot be put under what's that kind of like the case that they were having. So that is one of the things that also we might point out on it. So the lawyers that were presenting the president are no longer in this impeachment case of Rigathi Gachagua. They decided to withdraw, and that is what is there, what we know. But apart from that, Makobura, there's so many things that has really happened in the entire process. This back and forth of the lawyers not agreeing. What is your take on the whole process? Are you muted or no?
Oh, sorry, I didn't know. I'm saying that first.
Yeah.
You've mentioned that President Ruto's lawyers, uh, Ruto's lawyer dropped the case today. They were arguing that the High Court lacked the jurisdiction to hear it,
Yeah.
and that such matters should be addressed by the Supreme Court.
Mhm.
By the Supreme Court
Mhm.
only.
Yeah.
So there they were saying that the whole thing violating the presidential immunity, which was the key reason of their objection. So apart from that, we had so many things which happened today at the court. Above all, we were seeing the lawyers representing the deputy president having the time, but to the view of the people, mostly people are saying that uh, they were not really presenting facts before the courts,
Mhm.
and so some people are saying that it could be that they have sensed that this case is going nowhere, so they're just trying to continue uh, making allegations which cannot really be substantiated. So for that reason, they can't. The whole session actually has not gone well,
Mhm.
and we expected that the ruling would come today. I
Yeah.
mean, they would make some steps today, but from what we saw, there was back and forth, and they really didn't touch on the important issues that Kenyans were expecting. Uh, and again, something that we also noted, uh, the high court. I mean, the high court. This whole thing. I mean, the whole the case which was actually being had. Part of it was blocking the swearing in of Professor Kindiki, and that ruling was supposed to lapse today. So there was also constant urge by the lawyers representing the state, I mean the National Assembly, that the court should listen to that case and at least uh, their give their thought on it, so that the deputy president appointed by the president would then get the opportunity to be sworn in. That was also there. Something that we also noted is that the lawyers of the deputy president, I think they're just trying to drag the whole thing so that uh, the court may take too much time dwelling on this issue so that they may get enough time to postpone the swearing in of the appointed deputy president.
Okay, thank you so much. And if you're joining us for the very first time, I see Laban Misiani on the comment section. And to hi, brother Ben. Thank you so much. We are doing good, maybe on your part. Let us know how you're doing. As I said earlier, if you're joining us for the very first time, just let us know where you're watching us from. And if you're new here in the channel, just become a family member and help us grow together by subscribing. That is the only thing that support that we might require for you, from you, I mean. And we thank you so much for everything, and we thank you so much for your support. Makobura, we do not have, personally, I would say I do not have a legal background as a profession, but there are some of the things that I can point out, because what we are looking at right now, is it a lie or it is truth? Because as much as we might say that, okay, the petitioners who are representing the deputy president, uh, some people are giving the same way that you've said, that they are giving the signs of defeat. But, the issues that they are raising actually are quite much pertinent issues, because they feel that the way the bench is constituted is biased to them, due to the fact that they've given those allegations that they feel. And my question to you, if at all the bench is biased, and the same bench that is biased, you are you are giving your submission on that bench to decide to recuse itself, how can that one be? Or should it be in another jurisdiction? Because if I'm biased and you're coming with allegation that I'm biased, and the same person going to litigate that case, does it sit well with them too, or with the judges?
We know from what we've been observing,
Yeah,
especially when these court sessions are going on. If you remember the case of Raila Odinga versus William Ruto, the one that ended in 2022, the disputed election.
yeah,
If you would hear the comments of the judges, the 7 judges led by the CJ,
yeah,
the kind of words that they were using, even before making the ruling, someone would say that these people have taken a stand, and automatically the other side, there was a show that they had lost the case.
yeah.
The same thing we are seeing in this case of the deputy president. If you listened to how the judges spoke yesterday, when they were saying that the DP's lawyers are trying to intimidate them,
Yeah.
and that they are not really coming up with the uh, proofs or evidence which are making sense, that they were trying to take too much sideshows. That automatically tells you that those judges have taken a position, and that the lawyers have also sensed that they have lost it.
Mhm.
So if you heard what Advocate Njiru Ndegwa
Yeah.
was saying or telling the judges, you would simply say that they've seen from the comments of these judges that they've lost it. So they're just trying to hang on anything that is available or near them.
Mhm.
But These judges are also human beings. If you see them having opinion that is sidelining a group, then you can easily say that they have taken a stand, and you can predict the outcome of that case.
Okay, thank you so much. And another thing that always came out is about this issue of public gallery, whereby they feel the other part, especially the part of the respondents, if I may say, are feeling that these are issues that they are playing to the public gallery, so that sympathy would be on their side of the petitioners. Um, that also something that was raised. But to be very sincere, I don't I would not buy that playing to the public gallery, because one of the things that even the majority of Kenyans are asking, the manner in which the process, the process of entire thing, entire impeachment, from the House to the Senate to where we are at the courts. And there are those who feel, the public perception based even on or I can quote what Ndegwa Jiru said about the tweet that was done by the senior counsel Abne Nasser, such like when you bring them to the public, that discomfort, especially for those who are allied to the uh, uh, president, those who are allied to the deputy president, there's that perception. And based on how even the files and everything has been taking place in there, uh, is there anything that the judges can do just in case to make the public, because I know there are those who are not supporting, that those are in between, those who just want to know the truth, you know so that they say, okay, if this bench is compromised, or if this bench is biased, what is wrong by constituting another bench to uh, listen to this case, because the outcome will be the same, because these are all professionals.
Okay. This is, I think I would say it's a national issue because the deputy president of the Republic of Kenya is involved.
Yeah.
And so the people of Kenya are also following keenly so that they can understand what is really happening at the courts. But again, if you've been keenly following this case, the way the judges are handling it,
Yeah.
and we've seen governors being impeached. They've been going to courts. We've seen deputy governors being impeached. They've been going to courts. And if you followed, I think this one was a little bit different.
Yeah.
Here you can, people, you can see that already the judges are not really like they're not very fair.
Yeah.
That is the perception of the people
Mhm.
compared to what we've been seeing when judges are handling the governor's cases, the deputy governor's cases. At least people normally say that, oh, at least this justice. But for this one,
Yeah.
most people are saying that the way the judges are talking, the way the case is being handled, even the way the judges, I mean, the lawyers themselves are behaving,
Yeah.
they're like playing. I think it would be
To
right to say that they're playing to the
drama.
gallery.
It is like a dramatic scene in the bar.
Yeah, because if you remember even how Dr. Kamino and Professor Gidu and the likes of Professor Ojienda were
Agenda, yeah.
behaving,
Hmm.
they're speaking at each other in the courts. One is saying just because he's old, they should be respected. The other one is saying he's a professor, he should be respected.
Yeah,
You see,
council.
those are very relevant things for the
Mhm.
people of Kenya. What the people of Kenya want to see is justice. They want to see a group of professionals
Yeah.
performing their professional duties. We know we don't want to see the lawyers arguing and telling us how professional, how educated one is, or how long one has practiced, because what is involved here is a serious thing.
Yeah.
And the deputy president was elected by the people of Kenya, over 6 million, and those 6 million people want to see what really happened. They don't want to see stories and people making dramas at the court. So from where I sit, I would say that uh, the way this whole case is being handled,
Mhm.
it is not really what we expect, because we have a very mature democracy,
Yeah.
and the judiciary, most of time, they've redeemed themselves. They've always handled cases with the maturity. But for this one, we are the people of Kenya having issues with it. Uh, it is. If you also want to see that, if you want to know that everything is not going well, if you remember, Advocate Senior Counsel Muite
Wait, yeah.
was saying that even before the outcome of the case, they were telling the judges that they feel they've not been heard, and they are going to go to the Supreme Court. You know, that tells you that everything is not okay. Why would a lawyer representing someone tells you that? Tell the judges that we are going to go to the Supreme Court because we feel you've not handled this case with the decorum and maturity.
Mhm.
Yeah, so it
But
is not really okay with the people.
okay, now, and let us just come. Let us not go into the legal issues because, like, some of them, like, I do not have like legal terms uh, um, to litigate. And let me just read a comment from one of our viewers here, Laban. There is nothing like pertinent issues whatsoever. Those guys were joking as an legal matter. Ayaga, my question is, if Kindiki becomes president and we impeach Ruto, then Kindiki becomes president and nominate DP. So where is the electorate be left? So these are some of the questions that Ayaga too is raising, But now, this perception, and let us not lie to one another, Makobura. There are so many Kenyans who have perception that this case, there's a kind of money involved, and I can go to a tweet. Let me just go to a tweet from even Jeru. I think he did it yesterday. Let me. I don't know whether I can.
From my side, I would also say that it could be true, because we've had members of parliament, senators, giving the same remarks, and it is not the first time. Whenever impeachments, especially going to the Senate or to the Parliament, we've always seen briberies. If you remember the case when CS Linturi was taken to the Parliament,
Yeah.
and the case that was there was a serious case, and there were evidence everywhere. But
Mhm.
we are being told they used a lot of money to save him, and that was also confirmed by so many members of parliament.
Yeah.
So if you hear members of parliament saying that there was money moving there, here and there, then it is true. The senator of Kiambu
Yeah.
confirmed that. Some There's also a member of parliament who said the same.
Mhm.
And if you hear them, they're the members of parliament. They know what is happening there, and they can attest. It is not the first time that we are hearing that something was taken before the parliament and there was bribery.
Yeah.
We've always seen that, and I think it could be true, because this is something that has a blessing of the president,
Mhm.
and he wouldn't really want a shame.
Mhm.
So they will use whatever it takes to try redeem themselves by ensuring that their wishes are passed at the parliament.
Okay. Thank you so much, Miguda. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing great, my friend. How are you?
I'm good. Okay, I'm coming to engage you. I just want to read the tweet. Then I will invite you also to give your view, especially on what transpired today, especially in the afternoon session. And where this tweet that was done yesterday by Ndegwa advocates. I quote. Zakayo Arap Tama, you got your way in the National Assembly and the Senate to unlawfully impeach Deputy Rigathi. We shall stay guard of the no, sorry, that is the wrong one. That's the wrong one. Sorry about that. Let me just read the one the same day. Fellow Kenyans, I quote, fellow Kenyans, your president, Mr. Zakaya Raptama, has between the National Assembly and the Senate spent over 1.5 billion to have his deputy president impeached. Just imagine all the money our university funding is disarray and dialysis patients are dying in their thousands. So this is a tweet, and you know very well that Njiru is one of the advocates that uh, are are executing the case for the deputy president. And you see the kind of tweet he has done. Especially, this is going to the public. And remember, we have so many Kenyans who will pick this and will start to, spread that message. How will those Kenyans be assured that this is the right information that they are receiving? And that is what now is creating the perception. You know,
Yeah,
Miguel,
if you
what do you
can,
have to say?
if you can, if you can hear me out,
Mhm.
okay. I believe Ndekwanjiru sentiments can be true or not
Yeah.
true
Mhm.
based on the how someone has viewed it. But there were some people who informed the members of the public.
Mhm.
Some centers that they were given 10 mics. Each and every center were given 10 mics. Some took to even the National Assembly. Each and every member of Parliament were given like 5 mics. So these things happened before, and I cannot take Jiru's tweet simple because I can't take it lightly because during the BBI, the
Yeah.
failed BBI time, uh, we we saw President Uhuru Kenyatta by then. He gave out 2 million Kenya shillings to each and every MCA. The BBI process was they started it at the county assembly, and
Yes.
they were given a grant of 2 million.
Mhm.
Today, that was just a grant. It was not. They never refunded, and it was never even put under loan. So it has happened, and the MCS passed BBI unanimously across all 47 counties, apart from some few counties in the Rift Valley. So by Ndego Njiro tweeting that there were bribes almost to a billion point something, it can be true because when government want to find its way, it can spend as much as it can. So the question could be, this money, why are they spending it on that agenda of impeaching deputy president? Because even BBI failed and they spent much on it. That money could have been allocated to some project, maybe even to the education or the feeding program in the county. So
Yeah.
that cannot be wrong or cannot be true, but unless it can be proved. But already we have witnesses. The centers themselves, some have admitted. Even so, it's something has happened in this country. So from our culture as a nation, we understand that it happens. So it can happen. Maybe it was true.
Yeah. Maybe. Okay. And it might be true, not to the exact figure that he might be quoting, but there was that kind of like transactional. There was a transaction that might have taken place because, and sometimes also I tend to put myself into their shoes, and maybe they have information. Maybe there's somebody that I've told them like this is how this is going to be, because the only issue that I have, if the petitioners feel that the bench is biased, yeah, and they have those because they feel that in the process that the judgment is going to be made, the judgment is not going to favor them, maybe because there's also a predetermined decision, everything has been predetermined, yet, yeah, and they feel they do not have like a fair playing ground. And on the other side, they also insist that those are those allegations are not true to the facts. So where does this one put a Kenyan who is so much interested in this, if themselves the professional or the legal team, they cannot agree to form a neutral ground that they will not favor anyone? So
if I might put it on the issue of predetermination, maybe it can sound good because it was if at all it was predetermined, it means that the petitioners, or in that case the applicant, the Ndegwa team, they
Yeah.
saw it that this thing, even though we are going through the court process, but we will not succeed because it is already predetermined. It's something that already it was predetermined. So they're trying to play to the gallery, or they're trying to leak some information to the mass public that even though we are in this court, but
Yeah.
bearing in your mind that we are just struggling to fight the rights of the deputy president in the court process, but
Mm,
just know that this thing was already predetermined, and because the process, even how the MPs and the senators were bribed, even
mm.
it means that even whether we are fighting the judicial war, but at the end of the day, this thing must go according to their way because they have spent so much. So it was something that it was predetermined. That's something it's trying to put in the mind of the public, more so the supporters of Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua. So in case they lose this case in the court of law, they will
Mhm.
have some excuses that we tried our best, but already we had a
Mhm.
predetermined contest. I think that's how they want to put it on the eyes of the public.
Okay, well, let me ask you one question. Then I can invite Makobura to also to give his suggestion. When you, as a petitioner, if you want a judge to recuse himself from listening to a particular case that you are involved in, and the same judge is where you are giving your petition to listen and to make a ruling, how fair is that?
It is not fair. I think on the side of the petitioner, it's not fair because you expect the same bench. In
Yeah.
fact, you are hoping on the same bench to make a ruling for you. In fact, you are before them. At the same
Yeah.
time, you are questioning their composition. So even if you have the right as an advocate in that court of law, you have those
Mhm.
rights. Those rights are also limited because even the same bench also has a right in that area. Because even though you have a right to be heard, but the same bench also must be heard. We must add from the bench because if you can't add from the bench, there
Yeah.
can be no any progress. And today I find out that when Mr. Ruto was incorporated as the respondent in the case, on the ongoing case,
Yeah.
today the advocates from Mr. President, they have withdrawn his name as a respondent because they were citing that he is the sitting president, and
Yeah.
in our laws, there is no way you can try a sitting president in a court of law. That
Mhm.
is, even be it criminal or civil litigation, it is inconsistent with the constitution. So the respondent from the president have withdrawn the name of the Mr. President as the respondent. So and the people who drag the name of the Mr. President as the respondent are the same petitioners. So the same petitioners have some issues to be questioned that they incorporated the name of the Mr. President as respondent in the case. At the same time, they're questioning the composition of the bench. At the same time, this is the bench they expect to make a ruling on their favor because they have come before that bench. That's why the bench was trying to appeal to them that
Oh, I hope he's going to pay. Okay, thank you so much, everyone. If you're here for the very first time, kindly, we are pleading and requesting you to support our channel by subscribing. So if we go live to have this kind of discussions, you will be notified and you will be part of the conversation. Mr. Eric Ayaga, having a judge whose wife is a beneficiary of a political appointment is absurd. Eric Ogola should just walk out of this case. That is also one of the grounds that the petitioners were arguing. Yeah, we will come also to the one of Kingi. Makobura, go ahead.
I think what Eric is saying is what we normally call conflict of interest.
Mhm.
And whenever a judge is whenever the issues of conflict of interest are being raised, automatically that can change the outcome of a case. Um, I also heard one of the lawyers saying that Judge Ogola should tell the people the relationship that he have with the Senate Speaker. I'm not so sure about their relationship,
Yeah, I think
and
it was Judge Murima.
even it was Ogola, if I can
No,
remember keenly, but I'll have to confirm that. I think
okay.
it was Ogola. Yeah,
Justice
yeah.
Murima.
So yeah, so whenever you hear judges having a conflict of interest, then there is a possibility, even actually, that's a ground. If the lawyers were having and having a the lawyers who are not feeling that the outcome is going to be favorable to them,
Yeah.
they can use that. Uh, they can actually, if they go to the court of appeal, they can be listened to just because of those issues of conflict of interest. I also saw someone here was also asking somewhere. Laban Misiani was asking that conservatory orders will expire today, midnight. Kindiki can be sworn in tomorrow. It is true that the conservatory orders were expiring today, and that is the reason why Professor Tom Ojienda was urging the court that at least they give her here and make a determination on the stand of of the case that is pending, blocking the swearing in of Professor Kindiki.
Yeah.
That was actually not done. So I think if Meguda would be here, he would have somehow clarified what that would then mean if the conservatory orders expire today. What then would be the next step? Yeah. So there's
Mm.
much that we are going to look into still,
Yeah.
and the issues which were raised by the lawyers are also pertinent issues.
Mm.
And if the judges will not keenly give a good determination, then it's not going to be a easy thing to do.
And our good friend Godfrey Nyoru Kindiki might be sworn in tomorrow before noon. And now, my question is, if he's going to be sworn in tomorrow, the Chief Justice or the Deputy Chief Justice will have to be there. So, what will happen to these cases?
That would still amount to conflict of interest, because why would they then appear
Mm.
to before the swearing in, and at the same time they're the same people who are sitting hearing the same case? So there's still conflict of interest, and whatever happens, should they proceed with that,
Yeah.
then someone might also argue that it was not fair for them, because why would they take their time, go swear in a deputy president before the determination of a case that is before them? You
But
know,
now, let me just ask you. We are not maybe somebody out there. Even if Miguda can come and comment on the comment section, because I think he has a problem with his network. Um, whose problem was it? Because they knew even when they were sitting that the conservatory order was supposed to expire today. Yeah, and due to back and forth, because in other jurisdiction, especially if the judge, somebody accuse you or somebody falsely accuse you of they feel that you are biased, there are those who through personal conscience tells you, okay, let me recuse myself from this case so that justice can be delivered. Even though sometimes he might accuse you falsely, but for you to make sure that the justice is delivered to that person, that is one. Then the second part of it is if you fail to recuse yourself, then the person who alleged that you are biased end up winning the case. What about the person who loses the case? He said that okay, I'm not having confidence, and he has won the case. I think his decision might have influenced the judge to make such ruling. Can those scenarios arise?
mm, I think we expected that, especially with these judges. It's so
Yeah.
unfortunate that we didn't see if all the accusations which are being made are true.
Yeah.
Should these judges, if suppose they have some relationship with either the government or people in power, whether the speaker,
Mhm.
then this is a national case, and it is something that is affecting the people of Kenya. So, with the national view,
Yeah.
I think it would be good if they knew they had some relationship with people in power,
Yeah.
especially the people in the national government, then they ought to have excused themselves from hearing the case.
Yes.
Uh, most of time we've seen judges withdrawing from hearing cases, especially when they fail, and the people who are actually when they fail, and also when they're accused of maybe having some conflict of interest.
Yeah.
So uh, it would have been good if the accused lawyers would have excused themselves from hearing the case, because the perception that would be created,
Mhm.
it is something that the judges would, I mean, it would actually, when such things happen, then people lose
Yeah.
that belief in judiciary and even the judges. You
Okay.
can
And I'm
see
seeing. Yeah.
Godfrey
Okay.
here is saying the perception created will force the judges
To recuse.
recuse themselves. Yeah.
And,
So
uh
such things uh, are serious things.
Mhm.
Such accusations, especially to the judges, they're serious thing, and it can add weight to anybody who is going to take that court to the Supreme. Take that case to the Supreme Court.
Okay, it say to maintain the public confidence, they will have to recuse themselves. I agree with you, even though sometimes the allegation that might be made against them might not be true. But I think based on how the process has been uh, done, on how the exchange of money is keep on being mentioned, it you know anybody will have to say something. Okay, this is why. And if you look at even what the petitioner the prayers they are trying to bring in, some of them, around 99%, are not being considered, that the ruling does not go on their way. The ruling goes against them. Remember the lady from Kerugoya, she was also talking about, she was told to go and check, uh, I don't know, in the portal this morning, but there was nothing on the portal. So, those are some of the things that maybe might make them to feel like they're not getting a fair hearing, especially if the directive are being given, but they're not finding those directive. So those are some of the things that can also create some perceptions. And when you look at our politics, especially the process of Rigathi Gachagua, is not an exemption. How, especially when something of that magnitude is being executed, anything in the parliament, it's always the the money factor usually rises. We are in a country whereby the money factor will always be the first question that is posed in place. For instance, when you look at Adani, people are asking who is benefiting. That confidence in everything that is taking place um, in the state or in the republic, provided that the state is having it, that confidence that the wananchi would have is usually not there, Makubura. So those are some of the things that are. I think if it could have been on a fair ground for the judge, for the justices. I'm not saying they are bad. They are Kenyans. There are cases that they've litigated, then they've given a good rulings. There are cases that they've delivered, and even those advocates have appeared before them. Not This one is not the first time. And if you listen to this, the Amino, Dr. Amino was saying that he has appeared before, especially Justice Ogola and Justice Murima, but he has never had somebody complaining about them until now. This case was being brought before them of a high profile. So on the conscious part of them, I feel, yeah, they should just recuse themselves and say, okay, let people handle, so the justice will be done. So for the justice to be done, even the person who is going to lose the case, either the impeached deputy president or the respondent, they celebrate their win together with their lose. That is what I think. The whole issue is to ensure a petitioner, the whole issue is to ensure it's the Chief Justice that empanels the bench. The petitioner feels the DCJ acted outside our mandate. I think this yesterday they answered, and I think like the judges are still not, the advocates are still not convinced about that.
Yeah, I think the reason why there's that misunderstanding, I
Yes.
think it is the first time that we are having the constitution is being tested.
Yeah.
This is something that we've never seen. So
Yes.
people will come with different formulas, different thinking.
Mm.
Uh, but again, we are all allowed to have different thinking when it comes to that matter, because we've not experienced such a thing in since we had this constitution.
Yes.
And something else that I also noted in this ruling or the whole thing is, if you remember the case the disputed 2022, that is the case of Raila and Ruto.
Yeah.
If you keenly followed, and the words which were used by the CJ,
Yes.
that is the CJ,
Yeah.
the words like I don't know what goose and the rest. These things, when they were saying them, maybe they did not know the sensitivity and how the people of Kenya would take it.
Yes.
Since that time, the people of Kenya they've never fully believed that
Mhm.
the CJ is really uh, a CJ who is neutral. They've never believed that she's a serious CJ,
Mhm.
just because of the choices of word that she chose to use at
Use,
that
yes.
particular time.
Mm.
And that also brings a mentality that, once the people have in mind that you as a CJ would give or would comment in that manner,
Yeah.
then they lose that trust in you. And she has the people of Kenya has had issues up to date. If
Yeah.
you tell any Kenyan what they believe about the CJ, they will tell you that she can't be trusted
Mhm.
just because of the comments that she gave. The same thing we are seeing in this case. This
Yeah.
is a case that is touching on the whole country, and
Mhm.
every Kenyan is interested and are following keenly. So if you hear judges saying that you can't intimidate us, and that they can't be told what to do and such kind of things, then automatically people would still uh, have a certain attitude towards these three judges. And the first thing is the negativity bit, that they will say that these judges are not neutral,
Yeah.
and that's why even the lawyers themselves, they have kind of analyzed the whole thing, and they've seen that they are losing it. So I think when it comes to these professional bits, especially to the judges, they
Mhm.
should always maintain the professional standard and ethics.
Mhm.
There are words that they should not be using.
Mm.
And if they do, they should know that these are very serious cases.
Mhm.
The people are analyzing it. We are not judges, we are not professionals in that field. And what we should be seeing from them is a full uh, professional ethic behavior. We are not expecting to see judges telling us how people look like a goose and the rest.
Yes.
We are not expecting judges to be telling us how intimidation and the rest. We don't expect that. What we need to see is a judge who is doing their work, because they are servants of the people. They're being paid by the taxes of the people of Kenya. So we need to see a consistent professional behavior when
Yeah.
they're handling matters which are concerning the people of Kenya. And that would actually tell or would somehow explain the perception that then the people would have towards them. Judiciary most of time, if you remember the time it was being led by one CJ Maraga,
Yes.
Maraga actually raised that bar too high. And as a people, it would actually take us time before we'll have a CJ who is neutral, a CJ who is not taking parts, a CJ who is very professional. William Tunga was also a good judge that we had.
Mhm.
We've had good judges. I mean, CJs. We're not saying that the current CJ is not good, but under her rule, I mean, under her guidance and her being the president of the judiciary, the people are since actually the first time she handled the case of the president and all that, the people of Kenya has not had a good perception towards her and the entire judiciary.
Okay, thank you so much for that. And I would also comment on that. And Eric Ayaga is saying, is that ruling, we were never told what is wrong with CJ, that she can't perform functions. She or, or is she sick or able to perform her administration role? And yeah, that is. But I think there was a letter that says that she was on leave. That I had, is it the council? Tom Agenda was saying it was found in the portal, and this
You
one.
know, just allow me to say this.
Mm,
She's the president of the judiciary
yeah.
and the deputy president of the Republic of Kenya. The deputy president is being impeached, and there's a case. I think even if she had gone for a leave, I
Mm,
think the wise professional thing is she is required to get back to office and listen to what is going on. She can take leave anytime. We saw her at Makadara
yes, we saw.
doing what? Assessing that place after the judge was shot and
Yeah.
actually killed over
Mhm.
there. That is, she was actually performing a duty. So if
Yeah.
someone tells us that she was on leave, I mean she was on leave, then that's a play, and we don't expect such kind of things. This is a serious issue. This is the second powerful person in the Republic of Kenya. Actually, from where I see it and what the people of Kenya are saying is that this case ought to have been handled the same way the case of the president would have been handled, because this is someone who was elected by the people of Kenya. So we expected this case to be taken actually at the Supreme Court,
Yeah.
and at least a bench of 7 judges would then listen to the case and give us their verdict. Yeah,
Okay.
so that is my take on the whole
Okay.
thing.
Thank you so much. And that's what you've just commented about what Ayaga was saying. You talked about the judicial wording, especially that uh, the chief justice used. In a case whereby you are losing the court case, yeah, when you're losing the court case, even as somebody that is losing the case, there's some words that you can use that are comforting. Actually, when you look at the history you look at the history of judicial in each and every country, we've never had that kind of literature being used, especially from the judiciary, because some of the judgment and the um, the pronouncement that you make, these are things that there are precedent. Somebody might have to read them. Like today, we were we were listening to both the lawyers quoting some of the judges that were made, pronouncement that were made, because they're using this precedent. But if you use such like words, how does it make it so it was not professional? And this one might have made quite number of Kenyans do not have faith in the GSDC. Gibson Connor, thank you so much, and for your we really really thank you so much. Yeah. And thank you for. I hope you're back. You told us you're not going to be around. I hope you're back and you had a good travel. So it's just about the conduct. And before they are all jargons and all that they call the words that they use on the bar when they are persecuting their cases, the big grammar and all. Those are not like the things that Mwananchi could get interested to. The Mwananchi want to know the result, like plainly, and tell us this is what is happening. You've told us, or this bench has been accused of this. The best way, why can't they recuse themselves? And they agree, Yeah. So I think that is one thing that should happen. And another thing also that raised the issue was about the Chief Justice Murima actually with Amason King during the marriage ceremony, where some gifts were given and there were photos. So those are some of the things that they were citing. And as a petitioner, as a petitioner, even as me, I would kind of like not trust, because like during this I gave you some gifts, and you are acting on a case that is also has come from your office, even though I know the Senate, especially the Honorable Amason Kingi, cannot cannot maybe, I might not be very sure, but that speculation and that suspicion that these people are friends, these are the only thing that came in public. What about the things that they're doing in public that we don't have cameras? What will happen?
Yeah.
So those are kind of the
And
questions that people might want to ask. Thank you so much. If you're back, happy to see you, and we hope all is well. Now, it's still about the here in the judiciary. You know, if you look at the entire process, on how even the process is taking place, and even from the lawyers, because when you look at these lawyers are the top cream. Some of them are the top cream of our land. When you talk of agenda, you have Professor Githu Migai, you have
Dr. Minwa.
Dr. Haminwa. These are people who have practiced law for the longest time. And as Githu Migai, Professor Githu Migai, the senior counsel, they call him, some of those advocates are his students, and they are even referencing some of the things that they were taught by the professor who is also now in the bar. But you find that they're still disagreeing, and yet the professor is the person who told them on how to litigate these cases. How do you take up what is your what do you think about that?
I think one thing that I've learned with lawyers is I've interacted with quite a lot of them.
Mm,
And, one thing I've noticed is that whenever they are on the opposite side,
yeah,
they will try their level best to give the opinion which is different from what someone also believes.
is it?
So I think what really happens is, once you're a lawyer,
Yeah.
from what I've seen,
Mm,
people argue differently. We may read, maybe, for example, this comment of Gypsy Corner,
yeah.
uh, where she's saying that I'm not back yet. We'll be back in a week.
Oh,
I have to try and pass by. That statement,
yeah.
if we start analyzing it and giving our opinion, we'll actually give different opinion.
Yes.
So the whole thing she's trying to say is that he's not yet here, but
Yeah.
she'll be around in a week. So we can try send this.
And
Analyze this statement
okay,
differently.
and I had just try and pass by.
Oh yes. So I think someone might argue differently. They might say that it is the grammar that she has used that is different.
Mm,
Someone will say that she was, I don't know. So it is normal for them to have a different opinion. It is normal to them to have, I
Mm.
mean, a different way of analyzing things. But what we know is that it is their role and their professional requirement that
Yeah.
um, they represent uh, the people who require their services. And while doing that, what we've normally seen is that they try their level best to use the terms and to do the good analysis that would actually convince the people who are listening, the people who are supposed to make the judgment. Yeah, so that is why you're seeing professors at the court, and while they're there, we are also seeing the students actually saying different things from what they were taught. And if you see these people who practice law, when they get the moment they admitted to the bar, the moment they start practicing, they sometimes are not very I mean, they are knowledgeable, yeah, but the way they approach these issues sometimes um, is sometimes they have some fear when they're starting the representations and the rest. But with time, with the knowledge and consistent interaction, they
Mhm.
tend to learn a lot of things. If, for example, these issues which deals with the constitution, this is a constitutional law. Once a lawyer gets or represents maybe a client, they'll get to understand with the interpretations of the judges and the legal minds, they will get to understand how to approach same cases in the near future. So it is true that Professor Gidu, might have been their teacher, but sometimes he was not doing the representative. He was not representing to, I mean, clients, and for that reason, you'll find that a junior lawyer who has been doing, somebody like Ndego Njiru, you see, he's a lawyer who has represented so many governors. He understands very well how constitutional law operates and everything.
Yeah.
And we might say that he has more knowledge when it comes to that. And that's why most people,
Yeah.
especially on this constitutional law, whenever people have issues to do with it, they
Yeah.
will almost always go for him.
Mhm. Yes.
So it all depends with the experience that someone has in a specific uh, department.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Gitonga. Thank you so much for joining. I hope you are doing well. Judith, Brenda, also thank you so much for joining. Makupura, let's go a bit out of what is happening. As much as every Kenyan is so much occupied on what is taking place in the Milimani law courts, there are two issues that I think now need to be debatable. One of them is about the extension of the time limit for elective posts. And another one was just brought in by um, Kiambu Senator about reducing the limit from the 5 we have to 4. So this has elicited some kind of like discussion, and the discussion has gone this way. I was in another forum, and it was now a might, because if you look at the person who, or the legislator who brought in that bill, especially was Senator Fernandi Cherargei, and people are having this um, idea that this is something that is well calculated, because due to the fact that the presidency, as we know, is a fact that is coming from his home turf or his tribe. And the other side is that, okay, you're trying to bring that, let us bring it down, because it's now becoming a war, or the political kind of like supremacy. What is your take on it?
First, I want to admit here that those people who believe that it is time that we relook at the constitution
Mhm.
that we have, the constitution which was promulgated in 2010.
Yeah.
I totally agree that we need to relook into it and at least make some changes especially those, it was on a test and we've tested it. We've somehow understood how it works.
Yeah.
We've seen what we need to change, what is really not working, and we've seen that we need to incorporate some more
Yeah.
changes into it.
Mm.
Yeah. So on the issue of, I mean, on the issue that was raised by Senator Cherargei, who is
Yeah.
the senator of Nandi,
Yes.
is proposing that we increase the term of the president from
Hmm.
5 years to 7.
Yeah.
I totally disagree with that. That is
Mm.
a nonsensical thinking that any Kenyan
Mhm.
who has been in this Kenya and knows what we've been going through as a country and the
Yes.
kind of leaders we've been having should
Yeah.
not think in that direction unless they have some malicious thinking or expectation. But as a people, as young people, as Gen Zs, as youths of the Republic of Kenya,
Yeah.
we we will not allow such thing to happen, because when we do so,
Yeah.
what we are going to do is we will be giving political class more time to regroup, more
Mhm.
time to loot, more time to give excuses, and we don't really want to go that direction. We've always seen whenever government is brought in power, they spend 1 or 2 years still arguing and making noise to the people. We've seen them taking time to bring their house together just because they want to do a lot of politicking and to tell us who is going to take another position. They keep on fighting,
Yeah.
you know. And the political beat that we are seeing in the Republic of Kenya, we've seen politicians politicking come the first year to the fifth year. The reason being is we've given them a wide gap, so many years. And that is the reason why, if they get into office, they still believe that we still have 4 years to come. When they
Okay.
get to the second year, they're still behaving or thinking that we have 3 years. And that's
Mhm.
why we see consistent politicking within the political class. But I would propose,
Mhm.
or I would support the one which was being proposed by the senator of Kiambu. The
Mm.
term should be reduced from 5 to 4.
Yes.
If it is done so, then the
Mm.
politicking that we've been seeing is going to get reduced.
Mhm.
You know, if a president gets into power, then they will know that we don't have time. We need to put more effort and ensure that they do what they promised the people of Kenya within that period.
Mhm.
Again, it will give us the opportunity to not have
Yeah.
leaders who are thieves, leaders who are corrupt. When we have that little time, at least the waibe within that small period. But if we give them 7, those people will take the whole country. And
Mm.
with the characters that we are seeing currently in the political class,
Yeah.
I'm telling you, if you go that direction, then unaweza amka upate Kenya iko.
Yeah.
Kenya ilienda.
If we talk about the extension of time limits for the elective posts, and it tells you the typical thinking of the Africans, I would say, when it comes to leadership, whereby there's this feel that if you are in the leadership, you need to stay forever. Look at, I can give you a typical example. When you look at Cameroon, the president who just passed some few weeks ago, how long was he in power? He was in power that the guy is so old that even you wonder, why should you then be the president? Does it mean that your country lack leaders for you? Then if you look at even the proposal that has been made, and you look at the track records of those who wants to be in the presidency, if at all that the extension was something of a big issue to him, there was the last parliament. What made him not to bring that in place? And remember, the issue of extension of the time limit for president, it did not start with Cherargei. You remember the very moment when the uh, the the new parliament or the new government came in place, some of the MPs, actually it was flouted. Yeah, yeah, it was. You know, so it
This is something that this government has been thinking about. If you are keen enough, The
Yeah.
moment they got into power,
Yeah.
they started this conversation,
Mhm.
and it was raised by a member of parliament who was coming from, I think, is
Is it
it
not
Kajiado?
northeastern?
Yeah, the north. Yeah, yeah, sure. The
Northeastern.
northeastern member
Yeah.
of parliament.
Yeah.
And then now it is now, I think the calculation was, let us use someone who is coming from the northeastern so that
Eastern.
they will not say that
It's
it is
yes,
being proposed by someone from this region.
the region.
And now that that failed, they were testing waters and they saw that the people of Kenya were not ready for that. What they are now doing is that they've not found someone to present that before the people. So Cherargei has officially gotten out and is doing it alone. And even if this issue of the deputy president, this may move somebody. This truly, if you are speaking,
Yeah.
and the way he was even answering what he was being asked,
Mm,
he was actually told to go take this case. I mean, before the present this before the National Assembly. It
mm,
wasn't is. This is something that was, planned and then packaged, and then it was told to present. And that is what we've been seeing. The political class, led by the president and the presidency, they are using innocent members of parliament
mhm,
they are sending them to the people to hear, so that
mm.
they may test water to see what the reaction of people is.
Is going
And
on.
from the reaction that we saw last time when they presented this, the
Mhm.
people of Kenya were against it. So now that they managed to get out the deputy president, and members of parliament are still having this fear that the president is a powerful person, so they're trying to bring it now, so that with the power that they got,
Yeah.
they still believe that the members of parliament have the mentality. That mentality, while they were impeaching the deputy president, that they're still going to do the same. And that is why they are hurrying this thing. I want to tell them that the people of Kenya are very observant people. They
Mm,
are keen. They know what is happening in their country. Anything. If you see a leader,
mm.
especially a political leader, arguing or trying to say that we need to extend our terms, then you will ask yourself first, what have they done to the people of Kenya? If the people of Kenya are certified that Cherargei has done his work excellently, I think we need to do that. Actually, this is something that should be proposed by the people and
Yes.
not a representative of the people. And
What?
that is why we are, what are their intentions? That is the question we are having.
Mhm.
And the
Okay.
people,
Uh-huh.
coming up with this, it is not the people, they're representatives. So they should not come with it at this time.
Okay, thank you so much. And this is our good friend Kinyeru is also saying about expiry of the orders. One argues that the orders were issued until the case is heard. The case has not been heard yet. The case has not been heard because what has been happening in the last 2 days is what we call the preliminary hearings. So when it comes to preliminary hearings, it's just like there are those prayers that both the petitioner and the respondent usually bring, so that it can clear way for hearing, such that when we go to hearing, everybody is on board. So those are some of the things. So when it comes to orders, my friend Kinyaru, I wish our friend Miguda could have been here, because Miguda is well versed, especially when it comes to issues to do with the laws. He could have given us definite answers. But I will also agree with you. I will buy. I will agree with you are saying, because I think the orders, because if you listen earlier, people were saying that the conservatory order was done after the impeachment, so it has no meaning. But now we came to realize that conservatory order, it doesn't define when and after or before, because if it was to define after or before, the Kindiki could have been sworn in by now, because that conservatory order came immediately, even after the gazettement of the Senate. So I will go with your view. That's also is a view that I can stand with. So Makobura, there's something that you talked about, the motion mover. And let me tell you this: when this history of this country, I'm telling you, the motion mover will not heal from this. Yeah, he might think that he has won, but he hasn't. And for somebody like me who believes in there's a payment, there's nothing that you can do in this earth we are living it without you getting payment. The nature has a way of paying you for the good things and for the bad things that you've done. If indeed he was very sure and he had 100%, and it's through his instincts that he believed that every allegation that he brought against the deputy president Rigathi Gachagua were true, then is okay. But if that the allegation that he brought uh, against deputy president was not his initiation, it was like he was being used as a sacrifice lamb just to start the process, then it's going to be completed, in a way, the way it has ended. At some point, he has a price to pay, either by being good, because that is how
It
nature
is
works.
it
That
is
is how
true, and in this republic, we've seen leaders who have taken that route, and
yeah,
they've never handed very okay. If you remember the government of the late Moi,
yeah,
there was very senior politician who the people of Kenya had a problem with,
yeah,
the total man.
yeah,
You know, the people of Kenya had issues on how he handled everything around the president.
yeah,
And, people actually, the word of mouth,
yeah,
me, I'm a believer, the word of mouth, it really, it has weight.
yes,
So, you know, he didn't really end well,
yeah,
and most of his properties, actually, some of which were in Nairobi, people are just selling them,
mhm,
and that tells you that even if you remember the case of the chairman of IEBC,
yeah.
of Mr. Kivitu.
Yes, I can remember those.
If you remember his case, he was asked who won the 2007 election between President Mwai Kibaki and Raila Amolo Odinga, and he said he didn't know. And then the question was, you don't know how, and you're the chairman, you're the referee.
You know,
Can you tell us it's either Raila or Kibaki? Whoever you say,
mhm.
you know, it was tough for him. And, so many people actually ended up dying because they were fighting for their political leader. And
Yeah,
that led to death of so many people. If you followed maybe the life of that chairman, then
yeah,
it really didn't end well. So these are things that we've seen. And what we should tell the people of Kenya is that we should sometimes use our instincts as a people, the human bit in us. When
yeah,
we're accusing someone, let us accuse them with
yeah.
facts. Let us accuse them
Just
with
stop. Let me fix my camera. I think is that an issue.
okay. What we need to do is whenever we are accusing someone, let us accuse them with things which are can be substantiated, things which are true, things which are coming from us. Let us not be used by others. I mean, to crucify others. So we need to be truthful, because if we are truthful, that is when we'll have a leadership that is accountable. I can see a friend Godfrey Kenyori is saying the same is happening to Chebukati. It is true. So, Chebukati has been a chairman in he has handled actually two elections, and the people of Kenya they've had issues with the elections, which has been officiated, I mean, refereed by
Yeah,
one Chebukati.
yeah,
And, sometimes people in power might use you, they might give you a lot of money,
mhm.
but you may not know the curse that you're bringing to yourself and to your family. Because whenever such things happen,
Yes,
especially things which are involving the whole country,
yeah,
then you are dealing with so many people.
yeah.
And
Because
if
yes,
people feel that you're not doing the right thing, then it is a curse even to yourself.
like when you look at the entirety what the country is going through right now, it's like the country is hostage. Take for example those who are working in the deputy president office that they've just been terminated,
Yeah,
compulsory.
Yeah, what if someone did not know anything? Is it
Anything.
just a problem that is working at the office of the deputy
Deputy
president?
president. There's somebody
That
who
is
is
so
paying.
wrong. Yeah,
There's somebody who is paying a price that
yeah.
she
We
or
should
she
not involve
does,
others.
yeah,
Huh?
she doesn't know. I don't know whether the lady who crafted the word rigiji, because she was employed in the deputy's office, I don't know whether she still has a job or her job has just ended like that. So at the bare minimum, if you
You
want
know, I
something like,
think the question we should then be asking ourselves
yeah.
is, if the deputy president was impeached,
Mm.
uh, while while the Senate was giving their verdict, or the National Assembly, did they say at any point that we are also impeaching or sending home all
Mhm.
those people who are working under the deputy president or in his office? I think that's going against the Constitution of the Republic of Kenya.
What
And
I know, what I know, there are those positions that come with the political positions that are not. You have to know when you are coming, especially when you are coming as advisor to the deputy president. These are political positions. This one you don't have to sign contracts immediately. The owner of the office leaves, you'll have to live with them. But then those are those who are permanent and pensionable, whereby like now you cannot access the deputy.
the deputy president comes and goes, they are still there. There are people who are actually permanently there. So how are they?
Yeah,
Eh,
even though they have not been sacked, they've not been taken to a permanent, they were 108. Maybe these are the people who came with the political benefit. But remember now, the office I don't think is accessible. So what is happening? Leave about that. Now come to the country as a whole. It is.
First, actually, what we should also think about the psychological problems that
Yeah,
these
that
people
comes
went
with it.
through,
Yes.
because these people are not told not to report to work.
Yeah.
They went to work very early in the morning
Morning
as usual, and then they were told you can't access here. What if some of them had left their properties over there
over
because
there.
they were, you know, I think this behavior, we saw this in the last government when Uhuru had problems with Ruto. They did the same kind of things. And I believe that if Ruto had gone through all this, then
Yeah,
at least
he
he
could
would
have
have
been.
experienced, he would have
Yeah,
been having mercy on others. But he's
mercy on
doing
others.
more worse than what he went through. So are
Ah,
we really healing as a country? The question is, are we really healing as a country, or we are trying to cause more havoc to the pain that we already have?
Okay, Makobura. And that is something that worth discussing about the. We were just talking about uh, the, 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 the person who brought impeachment, and we were just trying to argue in this manner. If indeed it was his own that he felt at some point like the deputy president is doing this, but what
Yeah.
makes me now not believe that based on the investment that has been put in place, especially for this impeachment of deputy president, I don't think that
It
the
wasn't is. Let
it,
us just be truthful
yeah,
enough.
it
It
wasn't
wasn't
it.
is.
So
And
yeah,
I also have a problem that because I believe it was used.
yeah,
And it was, to me, it is so wrong that you are carrying the burden of millions of people.
yeah.
You know, we are not saying that the deputy president was not wrong or he
No,
was wrong.
no,
We are
we,
not saying that.
no.
What we are trying to say here is, if truly that was his thinking, then it
It's
is
okay.
okay.
It's okay.
Very okay.
Very
But
okay.
if it was used or told that we're going to give you this specific amount of money,
Yes.
present this case,
Yeah.
then truly he'll not find it well.
Yeah. At some point, and whenever, even I know the president and the deputy president. These are people. They were the government that mostly were dealing in what we call the salvation. It was a godly sent. It was a kingdom
They made
government.
us believe that
Everybody
truly
and,
God is there, and we believe that God is there. They actually
and,
made our faith to increase, I would
and
say,
Sele.
because yeah. But now what they're doing,
Yeah.
they've actually interfered even with our faith, our belief as a people. You
Yeah.
know, and the level of hypocrisy that we are seeing in them.
Mm.
They preached to us. They told us that you should only take water. Water is the only good thing for you. But then they are using wine, they're getting drunk, they're walking, staggering here and there.
And now another thing that also makes us to question, what also makes us to question is about, if you look at the majority of church leaders who are saying, starting with Bishop Margaret
Kina Wairimu and
uh,
the likes of
Margaret
Wairimu.
Wairimo. These are people who were praying. They even prayed. I can
Yeah.
remember they even gave a prophecy when there was that lion portrait and telling, what does
Mhm.
it mean? This is what it means. And today,
Those are bad spirits. And if there's anyone who is following those pastors or bishops, then they should simply leave as soon as now, because those pastors, the bad spirit was actually confusing them. They
now,
gave false prophecies. And I think the best thing they should do, they should
yeah,
also leave the altar of God,
yeah.
because
Uh,
they
And,
need
and
to
now,
repent.
and now when it comes to forgiveness, because Makobura, me and that in our daily life, we are not so much perfect. I cannot account as many times that I would say that I'm not the perfect person, but seeking for forgiveness is usually there. And especially in the kingdom of God, whereby you you seek for that is okay, Makobura. Makobura, before we wind up, I just want you to mention something. I don't know whether you've seen the rumors. I'm not very sure about it. The issue of the Speaker of the National Assembly, Moses Wetangula, that he wants to be taken off the office again. What is happening?
I've had people speak about it,
Yeah.
and I think from what people are saying is that his troubles or problems started when William Samoei Ruto, the president, Daktari himself, said that they needed anyone who joined Kenya Kwanza,
Mhm.
they needed to fold their parties and join the UDA.
Oh,
The prime cabinet secretary
did so.
fold, did fold his party, Amani National Congress (ANC), and
Yeah.
joined UDA.
Mhm.
And many other parties within, they were in the process of folding and joining UDA. But one Moses Masika Wetangula, the current Speaker of the Republic of Kenya, said no,
Yeah.
he is not going to do so.
Mhm.
And so, people surrounding the president then, from what you're hearing, started telling the president that, you know what, uh, this is someone that we should not trust.
Mhm.
And we should not trust him because he has
Mhm.
refused to fold his party. And now the question that people are also asking themselves is,
Yeah.
why do you think he did not fold his party? The
Because
reason being is
yeah.
he is the king, apart from Raila Amolo Odinga being the kingpin of Western Province. The second person who is more powerful in that place is one Moses
Moses
Masika Wetangula.
Wetangula.
Because if it were not him, William Samoei Ruto would not have gotten to presidency, because he came with 200,000 votes
Vote,
from the Western region.
especially from the Bukusu land.
Yes, and people are arguing that if he would have maintained in the Raila camp, Raila
Mhm.
would have been the president.
Yeah.
So, the people around Ruto, they are having this mentality that this is a powerful person, and that if we don't really look or find a way of, eliminating him politically, then we are going to have problems. Because so far he has had his stand and is not willing to shake.
And
So, with the ODM coming on board,
yeah. Mhm.
ODM also felt threatened with the
Mhm.
move of one Masika Wetangula.
Yes.
So, the UDA party
Yeah.
and those that were in ANC,
Mhm.
and ODM also wants something in this government.
How sure are you?
So that is the fact. They were given and several post appointments,
Eh,
deputy party leader, two deputy party leaders, and one minority leader. What does
eh,
that tell you? That
eh.
clearly tells you that these people there's something that they're seeking. So
Okay.
they want to use the UDA party together with ODM. They want to use ODM and all those parties who are having the same mind
Yeah.
to to send home Moses Masika Wetangula,
How
so
it
that
happened.
that position would then be given to someone from ODM.
Yeah,
William
yeah.
Samoei Ruto has learned that he has lost in the Mount Kenya region and is sure that he can get nothing in the eastern.
Mhm.
Is sure that he's going to lose quite a number in Mount Kenya. So
Yes.
the only people that he's trying to bag is in
The
his
West
bag is the Western, the Luo Nyanza,
and
and
the
the
coastal.
coast.
Okay.
So it doesn't really have anything that is still, attaching him with Mount Kenya. He's only interested in some few votes over there, but he knows very well that he has lost. The people of Mount Kenya have a different thinking. The people of Mount Kenya are saying he's not the person that they believe he was.
Okay. Makobura. Thank you so much. And tomorrow we will be here, depending on how the court will make his ruling. And let me take this opportunity to thank everyone who was with us in this show. And we will see you tomorrow. Or you had something to add? Because I'm seeing there's something wrong with my camera. I'm trying to fix it, but I don't know.
I think I can now see it's just okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So one thing that I want to tell the people of Kenya is let us be truthful to ourselves first as a people. And whenever we have a problem or issues with others, let us approach and find a way of solving those problems or issues which we are having with others. And whenever we are doing or solving issues or problem, we should do so believing and also thinking that suppose we were in the opposite side, how would we then be handled? I believe that the way the deputy president case is being handled is not a fair thing, and not everyone would wish that when they're in those positions or in the opposite side, their cases would be handled the same. Again, I want to tell the leaders that they should also not allow themselves to be used. Let them use their personal thinking. Let them make decisions which which are best known to them. Let them not be given some amount of money at the expense of the people of Kenya. Uh, Let them not accuse others falsely if they are having such kind of mind. Let them be sober people. Let them first put the leadership gift that they've been given by God. Let them use this gift to serve the people of Kenya without favor, and they should be neutral no matter where they're coming from.
Okay, I agree with you in about using the leadership that you've been given, because even in terms of you as a person, when you are leader, you are chosen, and you are chosen to serve, but an expense that human in you, if you can see, because if you look at our political arena, I don't think like a deputy president is the worst politician ever in our political history. You know, I don't think
You
so.
know, in the Bible,
Yeah.
I'm not so sure the exact. I wouldn't really quote the exact verse,
Mhm.
but the Bible says that I should not see a speck in your eye.
Mhm.
Then I come telling you that you know what, you have a speck in
Mhm.
your eye.
Mhm.
If I also have one, the best thing I should do is that I should remove the one in my eye
Right.
so that I'll have a good visibility
Mhm.
of the speck. I mean, of the thing that is in your eye. I will
Mhm.
have the ability to clearly get it out of your eye
Yes.
if minds are wide open and are clear. So that is something that the leaders should also know and think about. They should not get into looting, get into corruption, and then if someone is accused of that,
Yeah.
then they all run to crucify that person.
Mhm.
And
That.
if Jesus was here, Jesus would then ask them
Mhm.
that if you are clean enough,
Mhm.
if you are not corrupt, if
Yeah.
you are not tribal, then be the first to throw that stone at
Mm.
Gachagua.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, not any one of them would have done so. So let them be Christians if they
Mhm.
are. Let them respect the Christianity.
Okay. Thank you very much, and let's meet next time tomorrow as we discuss the issues of our nation. Thank you so much.